Welcome to Paradise. Today we're exploring Jamaica's Grand Palladium and Lady Hamilton Resort.
So this is the reception area when you first arrive. This will be where you're checking in. Only guests allowed beyond this point. So you go over here. As you can see, this place is quite colonial in look. It really is quite amazing. It was only built in 2008, so it's not an old structure. But the way that they've constructed it is very, very palatial. You can see we've got marble everywhere. This does feel really quite grand. And you can get a glimpse in the distance there of the children's pool. So let's check out those pools, because that's one of the key differences to this hotel versus a lot in the Caribbean. A lot of hotels I've stayed at, they've had very small pools and they're really focusing on the beachfront. But here they do have a huge pool, which does have a huge bar in it, which is always very popular. But coming down to the pool area, which you can see is very central, right by reception. We've got the children's play area, so this is a play pool just for the kids, which is nice if you've got a young family, to have slides and an area that's not too deep, nice and shallow. If I take a quick look back to reception here, you can see how grand that building is. And it goes all the way along, and we'll take a look at the restaurants later, but a lot of the restaurants are located on that upper level. But you can see this building's massive. It goes on for quite a lot longer as well, because the Lady Hamilton is on that side of the estate and the Grand Palladium is on that side. So if you're wondering whether to book into one or the other, it's basically the same property. It just depends on what you want to pay for. But this is the children's pool. You can see it's quite early in the morning, so no children in it just yet. It will be mayhem later, no doubt, but it's quite a nice area. Good if you're coming with some younger people and you want something for them to do. Always good to have a special play area. But if you're an adult and you're looking for something to do, well, clearly you can do some sunbathing. We've got some towels on the beds here already. People like to reserve the beds wherever they go. You can see there are lots and lots of beds, and importantly, we've got these sunshades, because if you don't get a bit of shade, you're in a bit of trouble later in the day. Now this pool wraps all the way around the building, so this is just the side area. You can see the size of it. There's some people cleaning the pool out at the moment, and if we take a walk around the front, you can see how big this thing is. And I think this really does differentiate this hotel from most of the rest in the Caribbean, because they do tend to have very small swimming pools. And if you're like me and you prefer a pool to the beach, not really a big fan of sand, then I'm wanting a nice pool to relax in. Now the great thing about this pool is it's got two different areas. You can see here there's a wall down the middle segmenting it. Now this part is pretty shallow, comes up round about chest height maybe. And you can do aqua aerobics and various things in this pool and just have a play, throw the ball. And in this section, it's a tiny bit deeper, not much. And you can see there we've got a pool bar. Now it looks pretty quiet at the moment, but during the day we have a DJ here playing lots of really loud music, and that bar is absolutely rammed. All around there will be hundreds of people sitting and drinking. And one of the things about this hotel is that it's all inclusive, so all the drinks are included. So that means that once you're at that bar, you can stay there and have unlimited rum, mojitos, red stripe, whatever you like. So this is the pool area, so just walk around the front to give you a sense of perspective. You could literally get probably 1,000 people in here, really massive. I haven't seen it that busy, which is nice. I haven't really seen the beds that busy either, which is good. I'm filming this in August, which is it is the rainy season, so we have weather like this all morning, and then usually around about 2 or 3 o'clock there will be a little bit of rain. But let's take a walk down onto the beach, because this property has its own private beach. So just have a quick look back towards the building there. You can start to get a sense of the scale. You can see some of the accommodation over there. That's the Lady Hamilton side. It wraps all the way around, so you can see it goes out onto that spit. And then we've got the buildings here in the centre, which house a lot of the restaurants and the bars. And then we've got some of the properties for the Grand Palladium on that side. But let's take a look down onto the beach area. Now this beach wraps all the way around, so you can see it goes that way. And as with most Caribbean beaches, they're not hugely deep. So you can see it doesn't go out that far, it's relatively shallow. but that makes it quite private because you can't get thousands of people on it. Now we've got a nice shower here that you can wash all the sand off before you go up and have your lunch, and then we'll take a walk down this coastal path. If you follow my channel, you know that I like coastal walks. I like to have a little walk in the morning. It is early in the morning today. Good time to think about what's going on in the world, what's going on in your life, whether or not you're happy. You get a nice view here of the Caribbean, which is very pleasant. Waves pretty gentle, lapping up. Somebody cleaning up seaweed off the beach there, which is quite a nice feature. We go round, we can actually see some of the beach area. So we've got some beds here. Somebody's reserved some of these beds already. You can see, happens everywhere in the world. Plenty of actual beds, you don't have to sit on the sand. And then we've got, sorry, the camera's a bit wobbly because it's quite uneven on the beach. And we've got a nice little cove here, and then it opens out. We've got more beds, some cabanas with a cove, and I'll just walk up to this section here, which is the main section of the beach that people are sunbathing on. To give you a quick view of the Caribbean. It's very nice. Some kids playing here already in the morning. And we'll walk around to this section, just have a look at this part of the beach. But hopefully you're getting a flavour of this hotel. Everything is really close. So you've got the beach, you've got the pool, here's some of the accommodation, literally a stone's throw from the beach. And it wraps all the way around. We showed that earlier, but you can see all of those villas along there. And we've got this really nice private cove here. I think that's a big attraction of this hotel, is that because it does own so much land, essentially this is private property. You don't get any hawkers, nobody's walking along this beach trying to sell you anything. Essentially, it's very private. So here we are down at the water sports cove. So I'm just coming down these steps. Again, this is a private beach area. You don't get anybody wandering past. There are no hawkers, people coming onto the beach to try to sell you watches or any of that type of thing. There's basically only the staff from the hotel here. You can see there are tons and tons of beds here, and also a bar. If you're wanting another bottle of Red Stripe, then you can grab one here. And on the far side of this beach, we've got all of the water sports activities. Got a game of chess here, if you fancy an outdoor game of chess. The pieces aren't up at the moment. So if we go over, we can see where the jetty is, where you can get on all of the water sports. Now, it's not open at the moment because I've come down very early in the morning to beat the crowds. And also, it's a bit embarrassing if you're walking around making a video and there's thousands of people here because they all want to get onto the screen. But you can see here that we've got such a really placid piece of water, so you don't have to worry about waves. We've also got a sectioned off area there. You can see some people are playing volleyball or badminton or something. Really peaceful, really nice, great views, very private. And then we've got some paddle boards here that have been turned over, and got life jackets, so you don't have to worry about safety. Everybody gets life jacketed up. And then we've got some kayaks and other things. The fun, great big Mabel, so you can get pulled behind one of the speedboats, so you can get on the banana, which is just sitting underneath that, and a few other things like that. All you need to do is sign in, sign a waiver, and then you are off and running, and you will have whatever you want to do on that water to yourself.